Yeah, Councilor, okay ng Makati, di ba? Ng Quezon City dati. And this is Romy of one of the members of the Civil Society Trans Working Group. They describe themselves as members of the TWG na outside the Colombo town. So let's ask him about that later. But to begin with, the group the group is here, Attorney Porton and Attorney Kuna here because on December 26th this year, this month, the DTOR, the Department of Transportation plans to extend the permit that allows ANCAS to have a pilot test in certain areas of Metro Manila. And it seems that the extension of possibly another 6 months is going to happen. So there are many groups that are questioning this, while there are also many groups that are for this. So to begin with, let us hear from Attorney Inton.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good morning po sa inyo lahat, members of the media, the panelists. The Lawyers for Commuter Safety and Protection, represented by Attorney Raymond Fortun, filed a case petition for injunction with prayer for a temporary restraining order with the Regional Trial Court of Quezon City to enjoin 5 we call them fly-by-night motorcycle taxi who are operating outside the pilot run mandated by the DOTR and Congress. Ngayon, about the case, we will request Attorney Fortun to brief us of the status of the case. But right now, it has been raffled to branch RTC branch 85 of Quezon City. So what is the case all about? I will request Attorney Fortun to explain that. Pero what is the reason why we filed? Kasi ganito po yan, no? Probably almost a year and a half. You know very well that there is a clamor for motorcycle taxis, or what we call app-based motorcycle for hire, because of the traffic, because of the let's say the lack of transportation options for commuters. Maraming naging pasahero itong mode of transportation ito. In the province, they call it habal-habal, but that is different. Yung habal-habal, iba yan. Although there are also habal-habal in Metro Manila, but our point here of discussion is what we call the app-based motorcycle for hire. Yung gumagamit tayo ng smartphone to book our ride. So during that time, isa lang ang nag-ooperate na app-based motorcycle for hire, and that is ANCAS. Wala nang iba during that time. So during that time, then there is a question raised by government regulators, no, that based on the existing law and department order of regulatory agencies, motorcycles cannot be or should not be for hire vehicles. Pero yan, no, because of our relentless lobbying, including other groups in Congress, and also to the government agency, government regulators, nagkaroon ng pilot run. And yung nagkaroon ng pilot run, which will expire this month, December 26 yata, but according to newspaper reports, there is already an announcement from LTFRB that there will be an extension. Pero sana mamaya na natin pag-usapan yan. So, during that time, ang ang pumasok o nakapasok dun sa pilot run ay angkas. No? Because angkas lang ang app-based doon na motorcycle run na nagbibigay servisyo. Had there were probably others during that time, kung meron pa nun dati, I think there will be no question na paloob rin to sa pilot testing. Kung meron pa noon, kaya lang isa lang noon. Kaya tuloy, sa ngayon, isa lang. Ngayon, dahil siguro sa dami ng pasahero, naging successful na marami nang sumusulpot na iba. And there are 5 respondents na ng mga respondents sa kaso finana, but sabi nila marami pa daw iba na they are operating outside the pilot run. So if you are operating outside the pilot run, kolorum ka. Bakit? Wala kang go signal ng pamahalaan na magservisyo. But what is happening right now, etong mga to are already booking rides. No? So, that is dangerous because it will raise question of safety of passengers and a lot more. Ngayon, ako, mamaya siguro other panelists will explain yung mga kasama namin sa PWG. I could perhaps speak on behalf of LCSP na kami, member ng technical working group, pero hindi kami na-konsulta dito sa mga bagay na to, lalo na yung pagkuha ng bagong player. No? Wala kaming konsultasyon dyan. Kaya sinasabi nga namin, bakit hindi nyo kami kinonsulta dyan? Anong rason? So, yan yung mga. So, there will be question and answer part naman. I will turn over the mic to Attorney Fortune to explain the legal side of the issue, especially now that there is a pronouncement from LTFRB that the pilot run will eventually be extended. Attorney Fortune. The original period of time is 6 months, so ang extension yata nila 6 months din.
Okay, good morning. The lawyers for commuter safety and protection was able to observe the proliferation of app-based motorcycle taxis. We were able to zero in on the activities of 5 corporations. The 5 corporations are We Move Things Philippines Incorporated, Habal Rides Corporation, I Sabay 24/7, Sampadala Corporation, and Transserve Corporation. Ito pong 5 korporasyon po na ito ay operating as far as we are concerned. Meaning that meron po silang mga posts dun sa kanilang mga Facebook pages that they are already in the process of hiring mga motorcycle riders, that there is an ongoing training program for them. Some of them actually are already booking. Now, the problem with that is that obviously, merong threat. There's a threat that they are now offering their services to the public. And wala kaming pakialam sa angkas dito. No? Ang concern ng LCSP is that since these 5 are not being regulated and monitored by the members of the technical working group, meaning, ultimong sino-sino ba yung mga drivers na hina-hire nyo? Ano ba ang speed limits na nilalagay nyo? Gaano ba yung displacement ng mga motorcycles? No, because the agreement with the TWG is that there has to be certain limitations and rules. No, because if you're going to have a pilot program, you have to have certain standards. Standards about conduct ng mga drivers. Standards about feedback mechanisms in case hindi maganda yung experience ng mga commuters. I mean, this is very, very important. Now, if these 5 are outside of that, then you now have a threat on the riding public, which LCSP is representing and is supporting. No? So that's the reason why, since these 5 are, for our all intents and purposes, already operating as defined by law, we need to put a stop to that. No? And that's the purpose for the injunction. An injunction is a petition that you file in court in order to restrain or enjoin certain people from either doing, continue to do, or to threaten to do a particular act. Now, the reason why we are asking for a temporary restraining order is that there is a grave and irreparable damage to the riding public as well as to the pilot program itself. Because we believe that just a single accident, which might and most likely will occur because of the non-regulation of these 5 respondents, can actually imperil the entire pilot program. Let us all face it, no? There are a number of places, even inside Metro Manila, that is not covered by the mass transport system. Walang mga jeep, walang mga bus. And nagkakaproblema talaga yung mga basic commuters, no? People who do not have their own cars. So that's why pumasok itong mga motorized taxis to fill in that gap. Mas lalo na sa probinsya, where talagang walang mga taxis, walang mga buses. The only mode of transportation are really just motorized yung mga motorcycles. Now, maganda nga yan kung if everybody is going to be covered by a law. But there is no law with regard to motorcycle taxis. That's why at this stage, all of the stakeholders in the TWG, meaning the consumer groups, LTO, LTFRB, MMDA, CHPG, I mean, all of these people should actually be concerned as well as have a voice in setting up the reasonable standards for purposes of passing a law which will now regulate motorcycle taxis. The problem we have is that hindi pa nga nagagawa yung batas, meron ng mga sumisingit. Meron ng mga tao na hindi na sumusunod sa batas, kung tutusin. And that is what LCSP is concerned about. And recently is that it appears that there is a need for an extension, which has not been explained also to the other stakeholders. Magsasalita po yung mga iba. It has not been explained why there is a need for an extension. I mean, in the first place, I thought the 6-month period would be a sufficient period to determine whether or not it is viable to have motorcycle taxis in the Philippines and what kind of law requirements, conditions, minimum, no? Yung ultimong, ilang bang mga drivers, may training ba yan? Gaano katagal yung training? May psychological test ba yan? May feedback mechanism ba? How about insurance? Yun yung mga issues na ganon, dapat should have been resolved already within the 6-month period. Why would now there be a need for an extension? The one thing that comes to my mind, being a lawyer, is, di ba yung, for example, if you have a probationary employee, what is the period for probationary employment? 6 months, right? During the 6-month period, there are supposed to be standards in order for a person to be regularized. That is the rule, right? And that employee must be duly notified about the minimum standards in order to become a permanent employee. Now, if for some reason the employer could not make a decision whether to regularize or not, what happens? Nagkakaroon ng extension. I mean, yun ang sistema. Or, kini-terminate. We are actually here where sinasabi na yung technical working group daw has made the decision to extend yung pilot program. Now, we'd like also to know why is it that it is being extended. Kulang ba yung data na natanggap in order for there to be a report which can be the basis for the passage of a law to regulate motorcycle taxis? And then now, we also heard that there are 2 new players that are being considered. Parang ano yan eh, parang, sige, if we are to analogize, parang yung isang empleyado, di ba, gusto ngayong ma-hire at maging permanente. Tapos ngayon, yung whether or not that employee is going to be permanent is now going to be dependent on the actions of two others. Di ba parang, oh, teka, hindi ba dapat you evaluate permanency ng tao na yon, meaning yung mismo na nandoon at ini-evaluate, not to get somebody else. No? Kasi if that is the case, then actually, sa totoo lang, edi meron na palang basihan. No? So why is it that instead of allowing two new players to be included in an extension of the pilot program, why don't you just pass the law right now on the basis of the standards that have already been set and agreed upon, and now everybody can now be subjected to the same standards under a governing law. Right now, ngayon, walang law eh. So ano bang standards ang pinag-uusapan natin? Yung ba yung standards na binibigay dun sa nauna, yung ini-evaluate? Eh, doon pa lamang, medyo mahihirapan na sila eh. Kasi alam naman natin na yung nauna, medyo lamang na eh in terms of experience eh, di ba? Tapos papapasukin natin yung dalawa na absolutely no experience. Maapektuhan yung entire pilot program to the prejudice of the consumers. Dadating yung point na yun eh, no, na ay hindi kasi ang dami yung mga aksidente, so siguro na lang eh, tanggalin na lang natin yung motorcycle taxis na yan. We are being very unfair not only more than anything, we are being very unfair to the consumers who might be affected by the results of trying to include new players who have absolutely no track record when it comes to operating a motorcycle taxi system that's app-based. Thank you. That is all. That is the reason why we are filing this case. We hope that the hearing for a temporary restraining order will be scheduled by the RTC, to whom the case has been raffled, and that hopefully that when the TRO hearing is set and arguments are heard, that the court will consider a 20-day temporary restraining order to prevent these 5 respondents from operating during the pendency of our application for a writ of preliminary injunction. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Porson. So you are saying that the biggest victim of this delay or pro or interactions of the TOR is the public. How is the consuming, the riding public?
Definitely, it is the consuming public. We want to stress here, Gloria Jane, competition is going to be very healthy. Hindi naman pwede na isang bus company lamang yung nag-ooperate. Hindi pwede na isa lamang telecoms company yung nagpo-provide ng cellphone service. Okay? But yung standards ang pinaka-importante. Because if the standards are not set right now, actually there are no standards. Yun ang nakakatakot, especially when it comes to safety, yung capability, yung competency ng mga drivers, if they're not going to be subjected to strict scrutiny by the stakeholders, we're going to have problems. How about the concept of insurance? How quickly, ano ba ang usapan nitong mga companies na ito dun sa mga ospital natin in case of an accident? Pag dinala yung commuter doon sa ospital, aasikasuhin ba yan? I mean, the media knows what happens, na merong mga nire-reject simply because hindi makapagbigay ng what? Ng down payment, right? Sino nga asikaso niyan kung kunyari nagkaroon ng ganyang problema? Would these companies do it? Do they have an arrangement already with the hospitals? That is what we want to know, and that's why we are fearful about allowing these people to operate outside of the pilot program. Kasi walang regulation eh. So the one here which stands to lose in the absence, to allow these people to operate is really the riding public.
Thank you. And with that, we would like to hear from Romy and
Points po. Hi, ako po si Toix with Commute. Kasama ko si Raymond sa Move Metro Manila. And we're part of a group called Mobility Coalition or Move People Coalition. We're promoting people mobility. So isa po kami sa mga, last year, isa po kami sa mga nag-push na dapat ma-legalize na itong motorcycle taxi, no? Rather than under the current laws na pinagbabawal ito sa RA 4136. But we said, or 4136 per sir, tama? But we said kasi na ginagamit na ito ng commuters, no? And the best way for us to be able to protect the commuters ay magkaroon ng regulation ng motorcycle taxi. So last year, isa kami sa mga nagsulong nito, and we were very happy na naging nakinig naman ang Department of Transportation nun at nagbuo nga ng itong technical working group na kung saan ay inaral namin at that time, ang CAS pa nga lang yung sole provider nito, at ang sinasabi, o sige, aralin natin kung ano ang dapat magiging standards, ano yung safety protocols, ano yung safety measures, kaya binuo yung technical working group na kung saan ay nakasama kami. And kasama dun sa pinag-usapan is that, o sige, in the pilot test, magkakaroon tayo ng monthly meeting para pag-aralan kung ano ang naging experience ng angkas, ng riders, no, ng mga naka-experience nito, at i-evaluate kung ano pa ang pwede nating i-propose, because supposedly the technical working group of which we were a part is a study group that should put together some recommendations para sa Congress so that when there is a law that will be filed, kasama ito sa magiging mapag-usapan or ma-consider in that law, no? So mula nung nabuo yung technical working group or mula nung nag-start na yung pilot testing, which was in June, hindi na po kami napatawag, no? So I think that is the main issue that we're sort of raising here. We've been asking mula ng August, sabi namin siguro meron ng initial data na pwedeng mapresenta ang angkas sa atin sa technical working group para malaman natin kung ano pa ang pwede nating gawin para mas maging safe at mas maayos yung serbisyo para sa mga commuters. Sadly, yun nga, the technical working group was never convened na, and we did not know kung ano nang nangyari nun. Even if we were like always asking the Department of Transportation na kailan na tayo mag-convene, merong mga incidents, nakikita naman ninyo yan sa Facebook, may mga accidents, may mga reports na, may mga report din, di ba, na mga mga commuters na medyo may nahipuan, may mga ganon. So we want to know what would be the right response to this, no? And of course, ang concern namin commuters is safety and mobility. No, we think that motorcycle taxi sa sitwasyon ng traffic crisis dito sa Metro Manila, hindi talaga maiwasan that people will avail of this service, and what we want to do is to protect them. So, ano yung dapat na minimum na protection that the government can give in a regulatory framework, no? In a regulation na pwedeng i-propose. So ang sa amin, in principle, for commuters, alam naman natin yan, maganda kung may competition, di ba? Maganda talaga. Mas maganda yung serbisyo, magko-compete sila for quality. People will, if one service provider is not able to provide yung mabilis na pagbubuk, ay lilipat ako sa kabila, di ba? Ganon yung ganon yung principle nun. Yun yung dating ginagawa ko nun sa Grab tsaka Uber. O mabagal ang booking dito, lilipat ako sa kabila. Diba? So ngayon gusto rin namin tong merong kompetisyon. Pero nagtataka lang kami kung sino yung TWG na nag-decide dito. Kasi nung nag-start kami sa TWG, inungkat talaga namin yung process ng angkas. Tiningnan namin yung training nila. Pinakita ng angkas yung training nila. O eto yung ginagawa namin. This is the kind of, we suggested even, o paano yung proper way of riding, no? Paano bigyan ng orientation ng isang rider para safe yung kanyang pag-load dun sa motorcycle. You know, we made those suggestions, kaya in the pilot kasama yun sa naging adjustments na ginawa nung angkas, even the vests, no, even the big IDs, kasama yon sa decision ng pipe ng technical working group. So we think that the transparency of the process, yung pagiging consultative, participatory is important para yung commuters will be properly protected. And that's our opinion anyway. Na parang okay, may basihan tayo kung anong klaseng servisyo ang dapat mabigay ng ganitong mga service providers. So kahit ba
From the other guy.
yes. Very
Na hindi na mention it twice
Yeah.
kanina.
So just to close lang, parang I suppose ang question namin dito is guni-guni ba namin na part kami ng technical working group at iba na ang technical working group ngayon. So I think that's it.
Before I go on, who is the point man? EOTR ba ang
Yung kausap namin nung
And who is the point man there? What
at that time si Undersecretary Martin Delino sa road.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Good morning po. I'm Raymond Gascon from Move Metro Manila. Move Metro Manila po is a coalition of people mobility advocates. So we organize consultations and dialogues with policymakers, transportation experts, and different stakeholders to contribute to the improvement of mobility in Metro Manila. So for us, in principle, we agree po for the need for the motorcycle safety protocols to be extended and applied to other similar service providers. So competition is good and it should be a welcome development. Just that, similar with the other sentiments po, with other TWG members, yung mga non-TWG members, non-government TWG members po, were not consulted or involved in this very important development po and motorcycle taxi services. And yung TWG po is na-create in December 2008 in aid of legislation. So it's very important for us na mag-multi-stakeholder po yung magiging decision ng technical worker group. And unfortunately, hindi nga po ito nangyari. So yun lang po yung position.
Dadagdag lang namin siguro na at this point also we think that maybe Congress should already act on the filed bills. We know that there are 9 bills na naka-pending na sa House tsaka Senate, and we also know that in the past Congress pumasa na actually yung bill na in the House na legalizing motorcycle taxi, no? Pero sa Senate yata umabot lang siya hanggang second hearing. So, kung sana gumagalaw din ito, no? Yun yung hope kasi namin sa commuters. So parang habang ginagawa yung pilot at nagkakaroon ng technical working group meetings para i-evaluate, sana tumatakbo na rin yung sa Congress para at least sana pag natapos yung pilot, may batas na talagang magsasabi, ito ang magiging susundan na standards and ng lahat ng players, and that would be, that would not disrupt the service for commuters.
Sorry. Can I put this in perspective? You are asking for a 20-day TRO at 2014, right? When does the 20-day begin?
Right now po ngayon is that we just filed the petition yesterday and it was raffled also yesterday to branch 85 of RTC Quezon City. So under the rules of court, the judge handling the case to which the case is assigned has to call what is known as a TRO hearing within 24 hours. Siyempre na ino-notify pa rin muna yung mga respondents, no, for them to appear in that TRO hearing. Now, during the TRO hearing, the judge will hear the arguments of, first the petitioner, listen to the other respondents, and then make a determination on whether there is a need for a 20-day temporary restraining order to enjoin the respondents from performing the acts which they are being accused of. Para sa amin po yung the fact na nag-ooperate na sila, nag-hire ng mga driver, nagtitrain, nagbo-book, no, which we are not or outside of the pilot program regulation.
Sure, that's between today and tomorrow. dapat.
Hopefully we are hopeful that there will be a hearing within the week. Now at the latest yan, hopefully magkakaroon ng hearing by Friday. So hopefully also is that the judge handling the case would be able to resolve this very quickly. I mean, this is really just 20 days, no? Tapos during that 20-day period, there will be additional hearings that will be conducted for purposes of trying to prove whether a writ of preliminary injunction will be issued. Now, ano ang diferensya ng writ of preliminary injunction? Preliminary injunction, it means na temporary din yan, pero pangmatagalan, while the entire case is now being heard. And that will be, even kami, no, yung lawyers for commuter safety and protection will be required to post a bond. Just in case that lumalabas na hindi naman pala kami entitled to the injunction, we will have to pay the respondents for the damages that they had incurred because we stopped them from operating. Okay, so yun po ang process. At the end of the day, at the end of the case, the court will make a decision whether the injunction will be made permanent. We do not have, Attorney Hinton and I do not have any high hopes na matatapos yun because sooner or later, it will become moot, no? So hopefully, the Congress will already be passing a law which will now govern everybody. What we're just really concerned right now is, because these 5, and we have received information that there are more than 5. These 5 are operating now and are getting bookings now, and the government cannot regulate them.
But they are not operating on the basis of laws that cannot be cannot be government agency.
Yes, they can be apprehended individually. Now, in other words, pag naabutan sa kalsada, then they can be apprehended.
Why is it not being done? Because
We don't know, and that's why we do not.
the lobby on the others are very strong.
No, I don't think so naman. I mean, let us be at least open-minded that there are probably not enough law enforcement officers who will be able to look after them. Yun naman siguro, no? But again, that's why the recourse is to go to court so that the corporations themselves can now be enjoined, meaning it will obviously be more far-reaching because now the corporations will now be directed to inform their employees, oh, you cannot go and book, oh, you cannot go and be trained until the court decides that you are allowed.
Thank you. We're open to questions now.
Good morning. Anybody here from the panel, from ANCAS, who can answer questions?
It's not about ANCAS.
No ANCAS here? No, this is about ANCAS because this is about the life of ANCAS, whether it will be extended or it has been extended. But the position of the panel, or of course Attorney Hinton and Attorney Porto, is the question of why there was a recommendation from TWG to recommend additional participants. Am I right?
Among others, yes.
Among others. The reason why I'm asking if there's any member from ANCAS is because I am a motorist. I've been driving for 55 years. Okay, so as a motorist, I'm also bothered, irritated, cursing with the number of motorcycles on the road, whether they are ANCAS or not. No? So I was asked, that's why I'm asking if there is anybody from, because I want to know the standards of ANCAS, because you are questioning the standards of the new participants. All right. In other words, are they insured? Do they go training under CHPG?
Yes.
Not only by them.
Yes.
Because I read that ANCAS has its own training. No, I suggest CHPG. Okay, so and then of course, are these drivers? Do they have NBI clearances?
Would you like to answer him?
Doon sa technical working group kasi, so kasama yan sa mga tinanong namin sa kay ANCAS actually. Kasama yan sa mga parang kailangan din namin pusisiin at tingnan, sige, ano ba ang kaya niyong i-offer? So, yan, kasama dun sa requirement dun sa technical working group or yung agreement dun is that there should be a training with the HPG. I think merong ganong agreement kasi HPG was also part of the
Yes.
technical working group nung original. Ngayon wala na yata sila dun sa bagong TWG din. So, yan. So, may kasamang ganon na dapat trained with TWG, with the HPG. May kasamang kung anong klaseng, di ba yung helmet,
Helmet, yeah.
may mga ganon, yung vest.
F1 standards.
Yeah, so may mga ganon po dun sir sa technical working group guidelines. As in nakalatag yun isa-isa.
Yes, additional insurance.
Yeah, merong insurance, merong, ano pa bang mas sinabi doon?
Marunong ba mag-first aid?
Meron yung, meron pa nga sila sir gender training eh. How to,
Alright.
yeah, may gender training sila, how to properly address women riders. Kasi maraming
About
women
moral
riders.
standards. Meron ako narinig na may angkas daw na rape or something.
May ganun ang incident na na-report on Facebook. That's why we wanted to confront, we wanted the TWG to be convened during this pilot period. Kasi there's that reported incident and we thought that it should be discussed in the TWG meeting.
Okay.
Anong ginawa?
Let me
So,
go to the first
that's the part nga
Sige.
na hindi nangyari.
Up to your knowledge, ilan ang angkas riders?
Ang nakalagay dito, for the pilot yata, ang nilagay ay ang allowed ay 20 to 24,000. Yung
I
sinabi.
heard kasi third pilot this morning, 80,000 na raw yan. Is that true?
We don't know.
Okay.
That's the
So,
part that we should have
alright,
discussed with the
alright.
TWG. But
Okay.
it never happened.
Sorry. The TWG, you're saying now, you're blaming now the TWG, which is headed by the LTFRB, am I right?
So, the original TWG of which we were a part,
Yes.
DOTR ang nag-lead.
DOTR, yeah.
Ngayon, ang TWG na sinasabi kasi for this new the new players, the extension, the expansion, ang nagli-lead yata is LTFRB. So I don't know
Alright.
kung sino yung
So,
tinutukoy
in
natin.
other words, yung sinasabi niyong additional participants which was not discussed nor even thought of sa TWG, that decision came from LTFRB to accept them. Am I right, attorneys?
Yun po yung naririnig natin. That's
Alright,
correct.
so of course you don't want to be
No, we can only rely on what we read.
what you heard. In other words, hearsay.
Here's no written anything, but there are people already speaking that this was the decision of the
Alright, so
PWG.
attorney Tom.
Yes, sir, this of my personal knowledge because when we were guests of CNN Philippines in one of their shows, I was a guest in one of the CNN talk show. On the line was an executive from LTFRB. It was there when he admitted that there was a TWG and that they are going to admit new players. Dun po. So, yung kanyang admission na yon ay na officially lumabas after we filed the case, several hours after we filed the case. They said, yes, we are going to admit new players. So, eventually, the answer there is LTFRB.
Yes, but that is a verbal statement. So unless it's
No, that is already an official announcement.
no, unless it's black and white as a recommendation, na nandun yung file, there is no legal basis to file.
Correct.
That's right.
Right?
No, there's no
I'm not a
legal,
lawyer, but
there is no legal basis for them to operate.
well, that is a matter of
Discuss this further in our individual interviews.
no,
We
no.
would like to hear
Let
the
me
others.
finish my questions, okay? I'm through. I'm just saying that there is no legal basis until it's black and white, until it's published in a circular, 15 days, etc. Then that is official. Tama ba?
But he admitted it already.
Well, did he admit it or not?
He said that. So,
Okay, sir, yung pong 5 that we filed cases are our own verified
Sources, okay.
information based on their posts. In other words, they are already
Sa posting
operating.
nila,
Yes,
okay.
yes. So that's the basis. In fact, we did not, when we were preparing this, hindi pa nga namin naririnig po yung announcement ng LTFRB at all.
Okay.
So this is really based on what we have been able to gather.
Anyway, let's end it there because anyway you filed it already, so let the court decide.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Any other questions, please, to follow up? Yes. Please identify yourself.
Good morning, I'm Ari Silagan from Top Gear Magazine, Philippines. Sir, I would just like to inform you that DOTR has released a statement, official statement claiming that the TWG has formally recommended the extension of the 6-month pilot run of ANCAS. And it says here on the record, it will be out in the coming days. So would you like to comment on that?
Well, yun nga, una, yung TWG na yun ay hindi na yun original, no? Kasi itong mga kasama ko sa TWG, kahit sila hindi nasabihan. So, which TWG is talking about? But in terms of yung extension, that's okay, extended. Pero ito naman ang ano namin, ang gusto namin malaman, bakit kailangan i-extend? Ano ba ang naging findings? Di ba? Kung i-extend natin, why not submit already the findings to Congress para may batas na? Bakit pa tayo mag-extend kung di sabihin na kasi when you extend something, ibig sabihin you are already convinced, you are convinced na okay to. Kasi pwede naman nila sabihin, hinto, di ba? Tama na. Pero hindi nila sinabing tama na. Ang sabi nila, we extend. What for? Hindi pa ba sila ano? So, I think they are already convinced. Why? Because not only are they extending it, they are already expanding the pool of providers. So, kung madadami, di ba, you have been covering this issue way back. Di ba ang posisyon nga ng DOTR dati, matigas na ayaw? Di ba? Ang tigas nila na ayaw nila. It took us going to Congress, relentlessly we are advocating for this, na pumayag sila at last. And we are very thankful na pumayag sila. Di ba? Ngayon, hindi lang na i-extend, kundi, expand pa natin yung pool. So, ibig sabihin, kumbinsido sila. Di ba? So, kung kumbinsido sila, gawin na natin batas. Di ba? May findings ng bakit. Kasi pag in-extend lang natin to, kaya nga ang tawag nga, trial eh. Di ba? Test. Kumbaga, test na naman ba tayo? Di ba tayo pumasa dun sa unang test natin? Test na naman. Diba? We have to stop the testing. If we are convinced, then let's go ahead. Ano na natin sa Kongreso, and then Congress decide already to pass it in Congress, in the House, pumasa na to eh. And then sa Senate, umabot yata ng second reading. So in the past, convinced na. When this was passed in the House, walang negative vote. Walang nag-abstain. Unanimous. So, kung ganun rin lang, no, kumbinsido yung mga lawmakers natin, no, kumbinsido na to, extend. Let's go ahead.
Sir, I'll make it clear. Pa-clear lang po. Ayaw niyo po ng 6 months extension.
No.
He said
Okay yun. But as I said, it's okay, but di ba, mas maganda, tapusin na natin to. Huwag na tayo mag-test. Let's go ahead. Let's already convince Congress na since you are already extending, which is a manifestation that you agree na okay to, no? And then couple it with the intention to accept new players, so ibig sabihin, ayos to.
Mag-submit na ng recommendation sa Congress.
Bakit pa tayo mag-test ulit? Kumbaga, pumasa ka na ng bar, o test ka ulit, attorney Tonton. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, okay na tayo eh. Ano na natin? That will make things easier and simpler. Bakit? Hindi, kasi yung pagpili mo, parang ganito, right now, pipili ka ng bagong player sa testing period. Ano ang parameters natin doon? Diba? Samantala kung may batas na tayo, Okay na tayo pumili. Andiyan na lahat. Bakit may bias na? Oh.
Sir, with regard to the statement of TWG, now under General Garjola, basahin ko lang po yung 2 lines na I think it's very critical about your issue. We also want to determine whether or not motorcycles are really a safe and viable form of public transportation. That is always our priority, the safety, security, and comfort of the riding public. We want to determine their operational readiness and compliance. This is with regard, sir, to the submission of the 6 new motorcycle company, sir. Ang question ko po, wala po silang binanggit na ordering them to stop operations or warning them against their illicit operations. Ano po yung comment na dyan?
I agree with you. Tama yun. Pangalawa, kung safety ang concern, competition ba ang sagot nun sa ngayon? Kung safety ang concern, bakit hindi na lang natin itinanong, etong nangyari ngayong 6-month period, ganito. Ang aksidente, ganito ka namin. Ang mga violenting driver, ganito ka namin, ganon. Walang ganon eh. Antimano sinabi, we are concerned about safety. Therefore, let's open it up to new players. Is that logical?
Thank you. Next question, please.
Yes, I would like to ask in behalf of I'm Grace po. I'm a commuter kasi every day I ride these motorcycles, taxis po. Gusto ko lang yung may concern ako kanina kasi nabanggit ni Miss Serna at ni Sir Rain that you guys are no longer part of the TWG. So we're identifying now kung sino mga TWG to. May I ask lang kung bakit hindi na kayo nasama sa TWG?
Actually, nagtataka din kami kasi yun nga, mula nung nag-start yung pilot test, siguro so June nag-start ang pilot test, no? August pa lang, nagko-communicate na kami na okay, maybe 3 months meron ng data, di ba? Meron nang mapapakita itong pilot na to na okay, ano yung experience, and then we can also get like from the commuter side, ano naging experience nila dito sa pilot, no? Nagre-request na kami ng technical working group na mag-convene na. And there are may email threads dyan. At sinusundan niya ni Romeo. Dahil si Romeo kasama din siya sa technical working group, yung motorcycle riding community. Nagpo-follow up din sila. Kailan na tayo mag-technical working group meeting? Wala pong sinasagot sa amin. So I think about 2 weeks ago, nag-follow up ulit ako. Patapos na, matatapos na tong pilot. Kailan pa ba tayo magko-convene? Ano bang findings na nitong pilot na to? Kasi we are concerned sa commuters. Ang kinakabahan kami, madi-disrupt kaya ang service na ito na kailangan ng commuters. I mean, at this point sa traffic crisis natin, parang we do not want to imagine na biglang sasabihin, bawal na ulit ang motorcycle taxi. And then what will happen to the commuters? Magre-resort ulit to unsafer options. And we don't want to push them to that kind of situation. So, nagpupulit kami. Pero, yun nga, ang paulit-ulit na sinasabi sa amin, magkakaroon ng full TWG meeting soon. You will be notified. And then, when we found out yesterday na meron palang TWG nga na nag-recommend ng ganitong desisyon, we thought to ourselves, sandali, kasama pa ba tayo sa TWG? So, nagtawag-tawag na ako ng mga kasama namin sa TWG at tinanong, alam nyo ba to? Baka kami lang naman yung hindi nakasama, di ba? Apparently, marami sa amin ang hindi na-notify nito. So, mukhang nilaglag kami sa TWG. And that's the part na we're like asking, tuloy yung decision ng TWG na to is put to question kasi hindi transparent. Had we known about this, if we were even really a part of that, baka pwede pa kaming mag-back up at na magsabi na, you know what, nakita namin ang papeles nitong 5 operators na to, nakita namin kung paano sila mag-operate, we do recommend. Pero we did not, we don't even know itong mga to. So, yun yung big question, I suppose.
So there is no transparency na it's a pwera sila and they are also wondering why. So that's the answer. Sir, please identify yourself.
Hi po, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Ako po si Mike Francisco from RJTV. I would like to ask, dun po sa TWG nila, sir, yung commute and yung movement from Manila, Have you been notified na tinanggal na po kayo sa TWG?
Wala po, walang ganon. Pati yung leader, wala din silang ganon. LCS, PR also, kasama din
Apo.
ang lawyers
Hindi,
sa
hindi po kaya, hindi po lang po talaga, wala pa po talaga kang nagagawang data ang itong group ng TWG under LTFRB. Kaya po siguro, hindi pa, wala pa po kasi yung meeting eh. Possible po yun ha. And then, kaya po sila nag-extension kasi they are parang gusto nila pa ng more, o maaari pong mas gusto pa nilang additional extension to parang i-verify pa kung okay ba yung motorcycle taxi.
Okay. Yung questions nyo are hypothetical. Ang question nyo kasi is, siguro ganito, baka ganito. And all four of us would obviously not be in a position to know kung ano yung dahilan kung bakit i-extend at bakit magkakaroon ng dalawang new players. But it actually highlights the fact that actually the data na maaring kulang could have been obtained if there was a regular convening of the TWG. Hinihingi na nila TOEICs as early as August, mag-convene tayo. Bakit? Kasi para pumasok yung data. I mean, you cannot evaluate a pilot program, no, unless you do regular checks. Whether nagko-comply ba yung angkas na yan, meron bang mga issue tungkol sa rider violence, meron bang issue tungkol sa commuter safety, meron bang issue about accidents. I mean, all of these data could have been obtained every month kung nagko-convene na regularly. Now, the fact is as it is now appearing, wala pong meeting. So, kung walang meeting, natural, walang data.
Yes.
Kung walang data, walang pagbabasihan kung successful nga yung pilot program o hindi. And that actually answers your question as well, sir. The reason why this is being extended is because nothing happened.
Yes.
Nothing during the entire 5-month period na tumatakbo yung TWG, because even the stakeholders were never informed about any meetings. And now, what happens is their decision is, ay hindi pala tayo nakapag-meeting, sige extend na lang natin. Ay pero teka, mayroong mga dalawang gusto pumasok, papasukin natin.
Ayun nga.
Nakita niyo na po. Nakita niyo po kung bakit po ganito yung decision nila. Because walang information na pumasok, because hindi sila nagtatawag ng mga meeting, which can be the basis whether, sabi nga ni Atty. Hinton, kung merong information na mukhang okay naman pala yung motorcycle taxis na yan because it benefits the consumers, payagan na natin yan, di ba? Now, during the parang interim period, yung tinatawag na transition period, habang hindi pa napapasa yung batas, then meron ngayong mga certain regulations which can include even the new players.
And that is why, Attorney Fortune, you have this TRO, right?
Yes.
Because in the meantime, in the interim, there should be something legal going on, and that is the request for a TRO.
Merong 5 kasi na, I mean, hindi naman namin pinipigilan talaga ito eh. No? I mean, kung tutusin eh. Maganda nga yan na nag-o-offer sila. Ang problema dito is that, ito, si TOEICs, sinilip nila yung operations ng angkas. Tiningnan nila kung paano sila nagse-select ng mga riders, na tinitingnan nila kung ito ay dumaan sa CHPG for purposes of training. Itong 5 ba na ito, dumaan dyan? Kung ang sagot ay hindi, meron tayong problema sa mga commuters. Because then now we are exposing commuters to possible injuries and even death because these people don't want to be subject to the control and supervision of the TWG. That's why we are filing this case. We are not doing it to prevent competition. We're doing it for the protection of the riding public.
Sir, paano ba? Sir, kasi it means maaari pong talagang nagkaroon ng inconsistency yung LTFRB and DOTR for yung verifying no kung dapat bang payagan ng si angkas o hindi yung motorcycle taxi to operate. So that is why instead of doing that, in-extend na lang nila and then pinasok to new players para meron silang additional parang tawag dito basihan, hindi lang po sa hindi lang po sila nakabisa angkas. Maaari po ganun. Pero in a way, nakitaan din namin on our part sa media na talagang kung ito yung nakikita namin silid, kasi wala po taga DOTR dito, dapat po talaga meron taga DOTR dito for us to explain kung ano nangyari, bakit po hindi sila nakapag-provide. So yung question namin na gusto namin itanong, nakalutang pa kasi one side pa lang po yung nakukuha namin. So we have to parang to check sa DOTR on our side para magbigay sila ng statement after this. Maraming salamat po sir sa clarification. Thank you po.
But just to clarify, I think they were saying that competition is very much welcome.
Yes.
Except that there has to be some regulation or some legal proceedings in place now, and that's why there has to be a TRO. Because how can you allow 5 more players setting their own standards to operate? So there is some kind of misaligned ang DOTR or LTFM. Any more questions, please?
Yes. Sol Banzi, Manila Bulletin. Good morning. As an observer, nalilito ako. Hindi ba yung final based on the record of Congress sa kabagalan kumilos, hindi ba kayo nag-aalala na yung pinailin yung TRO? Magpapatagal dyan sa kaso na yan. At kung ibigay yan bigla, wouldn't that disrupt everybody's operations ngayon pa namang magpapasko?
Right now po, Madam, well, there is a player in providing motorcycle taxis. So hindi naman po mahihinto yung pong service po na ito. Yung pong nagpo-provide ng service po ngayon is effectively under the control and supervision ng TWG. May mga nakasilip na yung kanilang operation, although regrettably, walang feedback na pumapasok because hindi nagko-convene yung TWG. These 5 po are operating outside of the monitoring of the TWG and the pilot program. And this is the reason why we filed it. Because they are not being regulated. And yet, they are already offering their services to the public.
Parang kolorong.
Kolorong po talaga. Kolorong po talaga. Kaya po namin sinapaw po ito. Hindi po ito yung mga tao na nandun sa loob ng pilot
So that's the
program.
word that has been missing from this discussion. Kolorong.
Yes po. They are kolorong. And they are offering their services already to the detriment of the public.
Attorney, can you mention what that group is that is more or less not kolorong? That's
Yung iisa lang naman po talaga yung nandun sa pilot program yung angkas lang no? But this is not angkas. Kaya nga ako, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't want even to mention yung pangalan ng taong yun kasi
okay.
We don't really care no kung who is providing the service. We only want to protect the public. That is all. No? I mean, kahit na lahat sila ay pasok, wala akong problema. But they have to be subject to certain standards which would be applicable to all of them and which would be able to satisfy the consumer groups on the minimum standards to protect the riding public.
But doesn't the operation of AMCAS depend also on the legalization of the utilization of motorcycles?
Yes, exactly the point.
Isn't that
That's why
being
there's a
discussed in
6-month.
Congress?
That's a 6-month pilot. It's a 6-month window sa totoo lang na binigay for AMCAS to be able to show that this is a viable alternative option of mass transport. 6 months lang po talaga yan. Kaya nga the expectation even of all the stakeholders in the TWG is that during this period, ini-evaluate po talaga yung operations ng AMCAS. And then try to see kung ano bang kulang dyan. And then now be able to adjust so that when the law comes in, nakaset na po lahat po ng mga standards that now everybody who wants to come in and to be also offering their services to the public would be able to comply. And now the government will be there to regulate.
What is taking so long for all these standards to be set?
We haven't, TWG hadn't been convened at all during the 6-month period, Madam.
What will it take for the TWG to be convened?
Kick in the butt?
Dagdagan ko lang ma'am, because I think you mentioned a very important point na sana, yun nga, na sana Congress will already act on this. Kasi, yun nga, as far as we've checked nga, nung tinignan namin, nung nagtatawag na kami na mag-convene yung TWG in August, nag-check din kami sa House at sa Senate. Meron na bang, na-i-refile na ba yung bill on motorcycle taxi legalization na pumasa nung last Congress? Merong mga pending bills na sa House at sa Senate. Ang tanong na lang ngayon is, kailan po ito i-hear? Kailan na po ito i-hear para gumulong na rin yung prosesong yun? Mapag-usapan na rin yung ano na nga ba yung TWG findings, dapat nandoon na rin sa kanila, mabigyan na ang House at Senate ng copies of whatever report that maybe LTFRB or DOTR has, or that we don't have, that they haven't shared with us. But yun, sana ma-discuss na rin in the House and the Senate para hindi nga ma-disrupt yung service.
Siguro kailangang gisingin ng taong bayan para magkaroon ng clamor.
Yes po. Yeah, so hopefully si Congressman Edgar Sarmiento sa House and si Senator Grace po sa Senate ay nakikinig para maging priority na po itong motorcycle taxi legalization bills. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other question? Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Good morning po, Rito Caro from Rappler. So yung kasama po sa petition nyo ay yung providers na Joyride, Habal Rides, Isobay, Sampanala, and Transurf. Pero yung na-announce po sa LTFRB na ina-evaluate po nila for the extension ay City Mover, Joyride, Move It, SF Go, and Sakay, and Vroom Go. So, sinabi niyo po nung Monday na may possibility na i-amend niyo po yung petition niyo to include more players if possible. Will you be pursuing this po?
We will have to take a look at the extent of the operations of those that were mentioned by LTFRB. To be perfectly candid, except for Joyride and one other, you have to understand that if you're going to file a case, you have to have evidence. So it's not just going to say, itong mga taong ito nag-ooperate na. I mean, we have to be able to collate the data and show it to the court, to the judge, that indeed they are operating. So it's possible that these other 3 or 4 mentioned may be at some stage of preparation, but not in the sense of operations na alam namin. Ito pong 5 na nabanggit po namin, verified po namin, merong mga ilan dyan na talagang nagbubuk na. Meron pong ilan dyan na nag-hire na ng mga drivers, okay, ng mga motorcycle riders. We want these people to be regulated under the mantle and umbrella of the TWG. No, right now, kasi otherwise, then parang parang hinahayaan, parang parang merong inayaan mo na magbukas ng isang tindahan ng milk tea na hindi nyo subject sa, hindi nyo pinupuntahan ng mayor's office, no? Yung kung tama ba yung mga sangkap niyan, kung saan nyo nabili yan, kung expired na yan, di ba? Little things like that, no? In order for you to operate within government, under government regulation, you have to subject yourself to regulation and to supervision. So itong mga ito, obviously, as I said, they are outside of the mantle of the TWG. They are not being regulated at all, and yet nag-ooperate na sila. And that's the reason why we filed the injunction in the TR.
Sorry. Sabi niyo rin po na parang hindi po na-evaluate yung data ng Angkas pilot run every month. But to my knowledge po, Angkas presented to the TWG a few weeks ago about how they maintain the safety requirements. And do you think that this isn't enough evaluation on the TWG's part?
So when we came out with this press release yesterday, actually, shinare kasi namin yung press release where we said nga na the TWG has never been convened. Kaagad-agad, kasi sa TWG kasama din yung player, no? Si Angkas kasama. So sabi ni Angkas nga, biglang nag-reply siya dun sa email ko and says na actually meron kaming mga ready reports, sinabi nila. May ready reports kami and we'd be very happy to share it with you in a separate meeting, sabi ni Angkas sa amin. Pero yun nga, dapat kasi ang nagko-convene ng TWG para mag-present si Angkas ng kanilang findings and reports ay si DOTR, o di ba? Pero yun nga, parang, so ngayon, sabi ko, okay, we'd be very happy to get a copy of that report na supposedly meron namang ready reports daw si Angkas. So, to be fair to Angkas.
So, can I just clear, you are the TWG that's been anointed by DOTR. Yes. And what may be is not TWG now is by LTFRB. So, na-politicize parang gano'n. We don't, gano'n na lang, bago-bago, bago. Any other question, please? Thank you. Ay, makauna siya sa lang pa.
Hi, I'm Lawrence from Business Mirror. I'm just wondering why you're asking, why you're saying that there are fly-by-nights motorcycle tax. And kasi Angkas started illegally as well. Let's accept it. Angkas started illegally as well. And you're saying that other motorcycle taxi operators are inexperienced, not trained properly, etc. Why didn't you file a case against Angkas as well? If that's the case, that you're presenting, anyone can answer.
All right. Well, I only came in 2 weeks ago. Again, the reason that Angkas was not sued before was obviously, in Kagayan kami, we wanted first to see what's going to happen. I mean, the fact of habal-habal is already a matter of, it's an open practice. Ngayon,